Wow, it's another exciting time with Easy Learning Virtual Classroom. Lovely friends, take your books, your pens, and let us start the process. This time with economics. Everyone has a unique taste and preference for a particular product, so long as the product offers unique satisfaction. For example, chocolate, biscuits, drinks, and many more. Yet more importantly, a person consume, yet more importantly, a person continues to consume more of a product to the point where individual is no longer designed to consume by cutting his or her expenses. In that case, the consumer is rational by making the right decision in terms of his or her preference to reduce further expenses by holding his or her money because nothing is gained from further consumption. However, sometimes consumer will still consume more thereafter, even when the product is harming him or her. In that sense, the benefit turns negative, hence the introduction of our topic, utility. So today we're going to focus on utility. We have the following lesson objectives. The very first one is that we're going to look at the meaning of utility, state at least four assumptions of utility theory, explain the following: total utility, average utility, and then marginal utility. Last but not least, we're also going to look at the basic utility data for calculation. What then is utility? Utility is satisfaction derived from consuming a commodity. So a consumer chooses rationally to get the highest satisfaction out of a limited resources. The following are underlying assumptions of utility theory. The following are underlying assumptions of utility theory. The first one, we say the consumer is rational. He made the best decision out of his limited resources to maximize the greater returns. Then, consumer has a perfect knowledge about different products and its utility. Consumer has a perfect knowledge about different products and its utility. Then the third, utilities are measured in monetary terms or UTILs. The next, marginal utility holds money constant. Last but not least, consumer has a way of spending pattern to maximize utility. We're still on the concept. We are looking at total utility. Total utility. Total utility is summation of all levels of satisfaction a consumer gains from consuming a good or a service. It represents TU, all levels of happiness that a consumer gains from consuming a good or a service. The next concept is average utility. Average utility is utility per unit of consumption. It's utility per unit of consumption. Now let us look at this few work. Assuming quantity consumed is 5, and then total utility is 50. Find average utility. The formula is average utility equals total utility over quantity. So in this case, the total utility is 50 and the quantity consumed is 5. So when you divide 50 by 5, we're going to get 10. So 10 is the answer, the average utility. Marginal utility. What is it? Marginal utility is additional satisfaction derived from consuming the next unit of a commodity. It's additional satisfaction derived from consuming the next unit of commodity. The formula for marginal utility is change in total utility over change in unit quantity consumed. So we have marginal utility equals change in total utility over change in quantity. The change we have total utility 1 minus total utility 0. That's the current minus the previous. Likewise, when it comes to the quantity, it is the current minus the previous. Quantity 1 minus the quantity 2. We have current minus the previous. Now let us look at this data. We have quantity consumed 0, 1, 2. Then you have total utility, you have marginal utility. Now at 0, we have 0 or dash. There's nothing here. At 0, we have nothing for total utility as well as marginal utility. So at 0, we have nothing for total utility as well as marginal utility. At 1, total utility is 10. Then marginal utility is what we don't know. So to obtain marginal utility, we need to move by formula, change in total utility over change in quantity. Now when you look at the change, you have the current minus the previous. So in this case, when you start with total utility, you realize that you have 10 minus nothing. So that gives you 10. And then we have 1 minus 0. That also gives you 1. So the answer for F, marginal utility, is 10 utility. 10 utility. Now you can also look at it this way. The change between this one is 1. The change from 1 to 0 is 1. And then here there is nothing. So it still means 10. So we have 10 utility. Let us also look at the second example. On the second example, we have 0, we have nothing, marginal utility is just nothing, as well as average utility. 1, we have 10, marginal utility is 10, and then average utility is 10. Then we are looking at X, that's total utility. Now, for you to calculate the next total utility for S, it means total utility 1 plus marginal utility 2. So we have total utility 1 plus marginal utility 2. And that is going to give you 18. So 18 is the total utility. You can also use the same formula to calculate for A. You can also use the same formula to calculate for A. Now I've ended the chapter 1. We're going to continue with the chapter 2. Remember to do the exercise that I've given to you, and never hesitate to ask me questions whenever you confront with any issue. Remember again to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Thanks. Till I see you again.